So we've got an interesting scenario to talk about today, and it's pertaining to the character Choze. And this video was made possible by my awesome patron, Joshua M. Thank you so much for your patronage, Josh. I hope this video is good enough for what you wanted. Also, Choze is going to be in the upcoming One Punch Man Season 2. So that being said, I'm going to have to go into some spoilers for Season 2. So if you don't want to know what's going to happen, I suggest you check out now. So the question is, what if Choze became a hero? Because we know he's very far from that. Like, his whole dynamic is on the completely opposite end of the spectrum of being a hero. So it makes it interesting to think about what if this guy were to just make a complete 180 and become a hero while still maintaining his overall dynamic of race superiority. I can't really get too much into what Choze is about or what his character is even based on because it's just open for demonetization. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But just feel free to read chapter 69 and you'll find out everything you need to know about Choze. Apparently his family has spent generations breeding for superior genes, and he is evidently their finest creation. So he's kind of like Boros in a way, like the top of his species, if you want to consider his bloodline their very own species, because I assume that he considers that to be the case himself. And of course, with that means that he believes everyone else is below him. They're essentially commoners, is what he refers to them as. So let's say in this hypothetical situation, Choze's background and origin story is more or less the same. Like, his family is still selectively breeding for a superior being, in their opinion. And let's say Choze comes out to be what they wanted, and they still want Choze to use his overwhelming power to rule the world, but ironically, Choze comes out as like a good guy. Like, he's morally sound and he wants to have just nothing but altruistic motives and be a benefit to society. So I guess his family just outcasts him at this point since he's not evil like what they wanted him to be, or what they feel to be justified in their actions and goals. So Choze, being outcasted by his weird xenophobic family, I mean, to put it lightly, decides to join the Hero Association because now he doesn't have a place to belong to, and if anyone is all about the righteous justice and being altruistic to society, is the Hero Association. Or at least that's what they want you to believe that they are. But that's a whole other can of worms for another time. So Choze joins the Hero Association just like any of the other heroes would. So he takes the physical and written tests and gets placed according to his results. And I assume that Choze would be in the A class immediately after taking his test, because it just seems like he's overall A class level. At least what we have seen of his performance in the Super Fight tournament, like, he could take down regular dudes pretty easily, but of course he's not quite on the level of Saitama, and he's definitely not on the S-class level, considering that after he took Monster Cells, he seemed to become around Demon level, and in order to be S-class, you need to, like, be base level Demon. So, like, in his human form, he's, I guess, A-class level. Not really sure where he would be exactly in the A-class, because, you know, the rankings go into more than power. So I'm not sure how popular he would be. I mean, I guess he would have charisma, because he kind of does as a villain, I suppose. So if he was a hero, I guess he would be more charismatic, and that would aid to his ranking. But just based off of his martial arts skills and physical power that he has, it seems to line up with A class. I mean, he would certainly be around the level of like somebody like Stinger, I suppose. So Stinger is number 10. So I guess he would be around the top 15, top 10, but just raw physical power, he's for sure in the top 10, at least in my opinion. So now let's go back to his charisma and how he would be received as the public, as well as what his dynamic or just gimmick would be. So we know that, like, the A-class heroes in particular have, like, funny or just, I don't know, odd gimmicks to them. Like, for example, Magic Trick Man, Heavy Tank Loincloth, Lightning Genji, Lightning Max, Butterfly DX, Great Philosopher. You know, the A-class heroes like that, they all have, like, I don't know, kind of goofy gimmicks to them. So I guess Choze would be no different. So I guess that his dynamic would be the same as it was as a villain, but having like a hero spin to it. So Choze still does believe that he is genetically superior to most, if not all people, but he's using this to benefit society. Almost kind of like how Superman was. Like, Superman for sure knows that he is a god amongst humans. There's no doubt about that. But he still wants to save them because he sees them as like fragile people in a way, and that they need saving by him. So Choze would see this in himself, like, hey, I'm genetically superior to all of you and you're all beneath me, but I still love you and I want to help you all because you're all helpless without a superior genetic being like myself. So I guess in a way this would add like a comedic dynamic to him as well, since people would be like, oh, thank you for saving me, Choze, or whatever his hero name is, maybe Ubermensch, you know, like Superman in German. Props to Josh for coming up with that name. But also after he saves people, he would just give them this spiel about how they needed his help because he's genetically superior to them and whatnot. But, you know, like in a loving way, and they would just say, like, oh, thanks, yeah, cool. They would kind of be like, oh, you're kind of like a douche, but thanks for saving me. I know that your heart's in the right place, but you still think you're superior to everyone. So yeah, think of Heroes Choze as like A-class rank 9, Ubermensch, and like his whole dynamic is just he's a powerful, genetically gifted human who has fighting skills as well, and his gimmick is that he feels that it's his responsibility to save the human race because he is superior to all of them and they need his help. So that's pretty much it for the video today. Once again, I want to thank Josh M for your awesome patronage. I can't thank you enough, my friend, and I hope this video was good enough for what you wanted. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and if you would like me to make you a Patreon video, just check out my Patreon. You'll see how to do it on there, and if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.